As I was reading in, drawing a blank what I'm reading, Colossians, Chronicles. All right. Oh snap! I dropped my book. But I got it though. Are you struggling with temptation? If you're struggling with temptation, it's important to understand how we get tempted, succumb to temptation, and understanding that you will always be tempted with something. But if you understand the enemy and his ways and you're pursuing God, you have to know that God will always provide a way out. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13, Paul writes, and he explains, as I paraphrase, God will never allow you to be tempted over than what you can stand. And then he goes on to say that he will always provide a way out. And I know this to be true. Through my own life and my own temptations, when temptation had me chained. And so I want to talk about David and temptation. Often when we hear about temptation, we think of Adam and Eve in the garden. We think about Jesus on the mountain. They were tempted. The beautiful part about Jesus being tempted is he demonstrates that he overcame temptation. And he's doing this for us to know that we can do what he has done and even more. I found David being tempted, not by Bathsheba and his sin with her and Uriah's murder, not that temptation. But I found him being tempted by Satan in 1 Chronicles chapter 21. And the chapter opens up that Satan came against Israel and ultimately had David do a census. It opens up with Satan, the author of temptation, right there. Boom. David's being tempted. So David goes to Joab and David says, hey man, run this census. And I'm like, okay, what are you doing, right? What is he doing? And Joab is like the same way. Yo, and he says respectfully, David, why would we do a census? And our God, he can magnify our people 100 times to what we already are. We've had all these wars. We have done no census. We've had less men than we have now. And we've had success by the Lord and only the Lord. Why would you have me do a census and have Israel sin? And right there, David missed it. And if we're not tapped in, we miss it. That was David's out. That was his out. And if you've been tempted like I've been tempted, you'll be right in the midst of your temptation, whatever it may be. And you'll get a phone call or a text message. Something will go off or fall, or you have a distraction, something to deter you from the sin. That is God's promise. That is our way out. And when you're locked in, you recognize that and you become obedient to that. He went to God and he prayed about it. Now, check it. He had to get his thumping though. We got to know that God he's a merciful God. He's a gracious God. He's also a wrathful God. But I think it's very important to understand that he's a just God. He's just and he's a holy God. And in order to come to him, right, that we come to him unclean. And so through Jesus' blood washing over us, we become clean. But when we're in his presence, right, we come into a holy space, which is why we can't even, the angels can't even, they can't even. So God did what was just. And as it is also described throughout David's sins, this sin was probably the most catastrophic because though he lost his baby when, the adultery and the murder, he lost his child. This particular sin, this disobedience, it caused like 70,000 people to lose their life. I think it goes to show you, especially the higher you are in leadership and those that look to you for guidance, when we do fall to these things, it's a trickle effect down. And so we got to stay with our armor on at all times because Satan don't rest. So stay locked in, stay pursuing the Lord, so that when you are tempted, because you will be tempted, more important than a temptation is to know that God will always provide a way out. He will always provide a way out. God bless you. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace.